Hello everyone. In this lecture of induction motor, I'm going to discuss about the equivalent circuit of an induction motor. This equivalent circuit is used to calculate power delivered by the motor, efficiency, and so many things we will calculate by knowing the equivalent circuit. So to calculate the equivalent circuit, we need to understand some fundamental concepts regarding the induction motor. In principle, the induction motor consists of six coils. There are six coils, three here on a stator, this coil A, B, C, and three on rotor, and these are shorted. On rotor, these coils are shorted. Three coils in a stator as well as the short circuited rotor, which is magnetically acting as if it is consisted of three coils. So three coils are here also, a stator and rotor. It is possible to make an equivalent circuit diagram using one set of three coil. So we need just to take one set of coil, any one set. Suppose phase A is here taken, and from the rotor side, this coil is taken. So both the one coil is sufficient to make the equivalent circuit of an induction motor. So here it is shown like this. I1 is the current flowing in phase A of the stator, and there is a air gap, and due to the induction principle, which is induced due to the rotating magnetic field of the stator, and cut the rotor winding and rotor conductor and produces EMF, and that EMF produces a current that is flowing in rotor, that is represented by I2, and here it is shorted. This is rotor side and this is a stator side. So I1 current is flowing in a stator and I2 current is flowing in rotor. Per phase equivalent circuit. Basically, we are considering only for single phase basis. So per phase equivalent circuit is written here. So one phase of the stator and one phase of the rotor. This AC impedance of each winding comprises a resistance R and an inductive reactance X equal to omega into L, and it is measured in ohm. L is the inductance of the coil and is measured in Henry. So we have to consider the AC resistance of each component, a stator as well as rotor part. So the inductive reactance is X equal to 2 pi F into L and resistance is R. The coils are loading interactive with each other through a magnetic induction. This is the magnetic induction. Through this induction, this G is represented here. Through this induction, the stator current and rotor current is produced through the induction of the stator magnetic field. The rotor coil induces some additional current in the stator. The rotor coil induces some additional current in the stator coil. This we will see how some extra. Suppose the rotor also produces MMF, and its MMF also react with this MMF and cuts the stator winding. So it will also produce some EMF, and that EMF also produces some extra current. The relation here I am going to discuss is the related with the slip. So how slip and other parameters are related, that will be depicted here. That is very important point for understanding of the rotor and a stator related with the slip. Here we can see very easily that this rotor is when the rotor at any slip S is considered, when the rotor rotates with a speed Nm and slip is S, the rotor circuit frequency will be, this already has been derived in part 4 of the video. Rotor frequency is equal to slip multiplied by the stator frequency of the flux relative to the rotor conductor. This is the rotor frequency of the flux relative to the rotor. means the rotor relative to the rotor, this is the frequency of the rotor flux. The induced back EMF in the rotor. So induced EMF in the rotor will be written as E2S. When slip is considered, then it is represented as E2S, and which is equal to 4.44 N2 into F2 into phi P. Here N2 is the number of turn in the rotor, and F2 is rotor frequency, and phi is the flux per pole. So this relation F2 we can write here. The F2 is S multiplied by F1. So S is taken out here, and F1 phi P, and this whole value is represented F4.44 into F1 into phi P, expressed using supply frequency. This is the voltage when supply frequency is taken. It is called E2, supply frequency. So the voltage in the rotor when slip is there, and its value is given by S multiplied by E2. This has already been discussed in my previous lecture also. That link is being shared in the description box. So here we can find very easily, suppose this slip, if slip S equal to 1, this is the condition when our rotor of the motor is at a standstill, means it is not rotating. So during this condition, the slip definition is ns minus nm divided by ns, and if this value is 0, so this cancel out and slip is 1. So at a standstill condition, this condition is called a standstill condition. And during a standstill condition means our rotor is not rotating, only a stator three-phase supply is given here, and rotating magnetic field is rotating at synchronous speed, which link with the rotor conductor, but rotor is not rotating. During this time, the induced EMF in the rotor will be E2S equal to E2 only. Means maximum induced EMF will be obtained when rotor is not rotating. But as soon as rotor starts rotating, the value of slip decreases from 1. So when rotor starts rotating, the value of ns minus nm divided by ns, it's get reduced when this speed nm increasing. When this speed increasing, the value of slip decreasing, so the value of induced EMF also in the rotor decreases. As soon as the rotor reaches maximum speed, means suppose if rotor speed becomes equal to synchronous speed, during this time s will be 0. From this relation ns minus, if both these values are same, then difference will be 0, so slip will be 0. When slip will be 0, then E2S will be also 0. So during this condition, when rotor reaches at synchronous speed, the induced EMF in the rotor becomes 0. So this condition we are not allowing to run the rotor of an induction motor, but the speed is very near to the synchronous speed, but it is never allowed to run at the synchronous speed. So similarly, we can also find the value of reactance X2S of the rotor. X2 means rotor. X2S of the rotor 2 pi F2 into L2, and F2 we can put here S into F1. So this is S multiplied by X2. This is the reactance at a stator frequency, F1 frequency. That value is represented by X2. So the rotor generalized reactance will be X2S equal to S into X2, and X2 is the reactance at supply frequency F1. So this relation we have to keep in mind. This is a very useful relation. Therefore, the rotor equivalent circuit per phase, we can write rotor equivalent circuit per phase. We have already derived two conditions, and the equivalent rotor circuit per phase is like this. Sx2, what is Sx2? Sx2 is nothing but it is the X2S. Means this is the reactance at a slip S, and this is the rotor side. So this is the rotor side voltage, already derived this relation, rotor, and this is the rotor resistance, and I2 is the rotor current flowing. So from this circuit diagram, simply we can write like I2 current equal to voltage divided by total impedance of the circuit. So voltage is SS2 SE2 divided by R2 plus JSX2. This is impedance of the circuit. Now this relation can also be simplified, and it can be also written like this: if we divide this relation by S, so dividing by S, R2 by S will be here and S will cancel out from here. So this relation is E2 by R2 by S plus JX2. So now the equivalent circuit here is changed. Why it is changed? It has a logic that this E2 voltage is written here, I2 current is here, X2. Now in place of SX2, it is X2. And this value R2 by X, now it becomes variable. Why it becomes variable? Because every time the sleep is changing. So if we change the sleep, the value of R2 by S will change. That is why it is called variable resistance. So now this circuit and this circuit both are identical, but it has been converted into variable resistance. So another equivalent circuit can also be drawn using this relation. That relation is explaining this condition. Another modification is also done here. So this ratio I2 is here, I2 is here same, X2 is here, X2 is here same, but R2 by S has been changed. There is a logic why I2 has been changed. R2 by S, now this R2 by S has been broken into two parts. This R2, it is written here, this right side is same as left side, R2 plus R2 multiplied by 1 minus S divided by S. If we simplify this relation, right side, it is R2 plus R2 multiplied by 1 by S minus 1. So this R2 will come here in minus. So this term and this term will cancel out. So it is equal to R2 by S, which is equal to the left hand side. So this equivalent circuit is further modified in term of R2 and R2 multiplied by 1 minus S divided by S, and X2 is here, it is same, but from here we have drawn two equivalent circuit based on this circuit only. So this relation is this circuit we have drawn based on this relation. The interaction between the two electrical circuit can be represented with a common link like the transformer. So this circuit we are developing, and it will be represented as same as we are representing the case of the transformer, but there are some major differences that we will also discuss. So but a stator side we can consider as a transformer primary, and rotor side we can consider transformer secondary. The common link consists of magnetic core resistance RC, transverse resistance, and magnetizing reactance XM, transverse reactance. These two part also we have studied in the transformer. That is, RC is called the core loss resistance, and XM is called magnetizing component. This relation already we have studied in case of the transformer. For the simplicity, I am just recalling this point. It is like this. This portion is like this. As we have studied in the transformer, this value was RC and this was XM, and here current flowing was no load current was flowing. So this was the condition for the transformer. Same thing will arise here, but we have to consider this effect. What are the effect of the core loss and what are the effect of magnetizing reactances? In case of transformer, we have ignored it because the value of I naught was very small for transformer, very small for transformer. But for induction motor it is not small, so we cannot ignore it. We have to consider it. Why it is not small, we will see later. Its value is very high in case of the induction motor, but in case of transformer its value is very small. So now we are just considering the equivalent resistance of the induction motor. So here we can see very easily, here we can see that R1 X1 is the resistance of the stator side. R1 is the resistance of the stator winding, X1 is the reactance of the stator winding, and this component is the current component. This is RC and this is XM. Here it is E1 is the induced EMF, and this is the rotor side. So suppose N1 and N2 is the turn ratio, and this I2 current equivalent parameter is represented by I2 dash, same as in case of the transformer, what we are doing in case of transformer, that is being written here. Now it's the circuit is again simplified. R1 X1 is written, I1 is here, and this I2 dash, this value X2 is transferred to the stator side, so it has been written as X2 dash and R2 dash by S. This relation we have already studied in case of the transformer. So suppose if R2 dash, we can write R2 dash by S as equal to R2 by S multiplied by N1 by N2 whole square. So this is called turn ratio, means if you transfer from this side to this side, we have to multiply like this. And same way x2 dash is also, we can write x2 multiplied by n1 by n2 whole square. So this parameter is transferred in this side, and this I2 current will flow in the transferred side. So I2 dash is written here. So I2 dash is the secondary current referred to the primary side. We know this relation, that is called I2 by I1 equal to N1 by N2. And from here, I1 we bring it here, and this, so from here I1 we can write I2 multiplied by N2 divided by N1, and this value of current is called I2 dash. This is the secondary current referred to primary side, and this is the secondary reactance, means rotor reactance referred to the stator side, and this is rotor resistance referred to the stator side, and this is the rotor current referred to the stator side, and this is the rotor voltage E2 dash referred to the stator side. So this relation is written here. Everything is given here in what is I2 dash, what is R2 dash, and what is X2 dash. Now, whatever we have already drawn this, explain already, the same circuit is now reduced. So this is R1 X1 and I1, and this is I2 dash, this is X2 dash, and this is R2 dash. Now this R2 dash has been converted into two component already explained, R2 dash and R2 dash multiplied by S multiplied by 1 minus S. So these two equivalent value, if we add these two equivalent value, it is same as R2 dash by S. If we add this two value, R2 dash by S, and SS will cancel out here, minus R2 dash will be there, minus R2 dash plus R2 dash will be cancel out, and same thing we will get here. So this R2 dash is explained here, and this equivalent circuit is slightly modified to here in the two component R2 dash and R2 dash multiplied by 1 minus S divided by S. So finally this equivalent circuit is written like this, and this portion has been given. This portion is the very important part of the equivalent circuit of a induction motor. Here we see that this is our stator side where I1 current is flowing, and this is the core loss component flowing here, and this E2 dash already told, this is the rotor side referred to the stator side, this is rotor reactance referred to the stator side, this is also rotor resistance referred to stator side, and this value is R2 dash and R2 dash by S. This value is broken R2 dash by S in two component. This part is very important. Why? Equivalent to the transformer load, transformers load. This is same as the loading effect. What are the load resistance of the rotor side that is being transferred into the stator side? Equivalent to the transformer primary winding. This portion is equivalent to the primary winding, equivalent to the transformer load resistance. This is equivalent to the transformer secondary side, secondary winding equivalent of the transformer. This is the secondary winding equivalent of the transformer. Complete equivalent circuit per phase, we can write this relation. Same relation is now being drawn here. So in the rotor side and in the stator side is depicted here. Stator, this is air gap magnetic circuit, and this is rotor, and this is mechanical loading. This is the very important part of an equivalent circuit of a induction motor. So in this case, we can see very easily this side is called the stator circuit. A stator circuit means a stator has this voltage V1, I1 current, R1 resistance, X1 reactance, and this portion is the air gap magnetic circuit. So the value of Xm here and RC for air gap, the value of Xm and RC, IC current here, we cannot neglect it. Its value is very high. But in case of transformer, we are neglecting this value. But here we cannot do because there is a air gap. But in case of transformer, there is a no air gap. But here we can also see this is rotor equivalent circuit X2 dash R2 dash referred to the stator side, and this whole portion is called mechanical loading. That is why R2 dash by S has been broken in two part, R2 dash and R2 dash multiplied by 1 minus S by S. So this part is called mechanical load and rotational loss component. We have to derive some mathematical relation that will be equal to this value. So this value is called mechanical load or rotational losses. So in next part we will discuss some more detail about the circuit analysis, and we will see how power can be calculated.